In this video we are going to cover the Loft tool, or the Loft feature I should say. There are many different ways that you can create a loft, and you can create some pretty interesting things with the Loft feature. What Loft does is it essentially combines two shapes together and kind of blends them together over a distance. So let's go ahead and open our origins and let's make a sketch on the XZ plane. I'm going to use the polygon tool, and I'm going to change my polygon number to 8, and I'm going to find the middle origin, so where the X and Y intersect, and I'm going to lock onto the middle and make my 8-sided polygon. And I'm going to snap it onto the line here. Now I'm going to dimension the polygon from the center to the outside edge, and I'm going to make this 0.5. So that from the middle to the tip is 0.5. Go ahead and finish the sketch. And I'm going to go to isometric view and zoom out a little bit. Now we have this shape. What I'm going to show you how to do is blend this from this shape into a different shape. And in order to do that, we need to make another plane above it. So I'm going to go to my planes and just click the word plane. And I'm going to do offset from plane. And I'm going to offset from the XZ plane, which is where we originally drew. And I'm going to offset it. You can either grab the arrow to offset the plane, or you can type in a specific value. I'm going to offset at 0.5. And hit the check mark. And now we've got a plane that's hovering over the top of our original drawing. I'm going to choose this plane, so click the edge of it. It should light up red when you click on it. And I'm going to make a sketch. It also has an origin point in the middle. I'm going to take my circle tool and I'm going to lock onto the middle here, and I'm going to draw a circle that's 0.25. So this circle is 0.25 in diameter, and let's go ahead and finish the sketch. Now we've got the shape down here and the shape up here. With our Loft tool, we can loft these two shapes together. So if I click this shape and I click this shape, you see that the shapes have blended together. So now I've got this polygon that's blending into a circle. And if you look really closely, you'll see that the arch here is much thicker where the circle is, and then it slowly gradiates out until it's a flat surface here. Okay? Let me go back in time to where this wasn't yet. And I'm going to edit sketch 1. So here we are in sketch 1. I am going to grab my polygon tool again, and this time I'm going to make a 6-sided polygon. And I'm going to lock onto the origin and make my polygon so it snaps onto the axis right here. Close that. And I'm going to dimension from here to the tip, and I'm going to make this 0.375. So it's not quite as large as this. I'm going to hit finish sketch. Okay. The reason that I'm showing you this is because sometimes you'll have multiple sketches or lines on a sketch, and you want to loft something, but you don't want to loft everything. You want to loft maybe what's in the middle or what's on the outside. So if I click Loft and I choose this sketch right here, notice that it's no longer choosing the profile, it's choosing the whole sketch. So if I click on it, it hasn't actually selected anything because I need to choose, do I want the whole thing or do I want the middle? So once we go into the Loft and we click the sketch and it'll light up red, I've clicked it, but I still haven't chosen a profile yet. I have to choose either the outside one or the inside one. So I'll choose the inside one this time. And now I can't select this next one here. I've selected this middle sketch, but I can't select it to loft to this circle here. The reason for this is if you have two profiles on the same sketch and you're choosing one of them or the other, once you've selected the one profile that you want, you have to hit click to add. Now I can add this to my loft, and now we can see that the loft is doing it to our hexagon instead of our octagon. Okay? I'm going to go back in time one more time, and now I want to show you how to loft three profiles together and to show you what happens here when three of them are lofted together. So I'm going to go to my plane again and do offset from plane, and I'm going to choose this plane that I made up here, and I want to do the same thing, 0.5. So I offset it at 0.5. Now I'm going to make a sketch on this top plane that I just made. Once again, I got my middle origin. And by the way, you don't have to make it on the middle origin. You can make it off and it'll go off. In fact, I'm going to show you that first, and then I'll show you it the other way. I'm going to grab my polygon tool. This time, I'm going to do a 5-sided polygon, and I'm going to make the polygon off to the side, like this. And I'm going to snap it onto the origin here. Okay? I'm going to dimension from the middle of the polygon to the edge, and I'm going to make this 0.375. And I'm also going to ensure that the middle of my polygon is in line with this middle origin point. So I'm going to bring my dimensioning out here, and I'm going to make this 0 so that it's in line with the origin. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Finish Sketch. Okay. Now we've got three sketches. If I go to Loft, and I'm going to choose this sketch and this middle profile, and I'm going to hit click to add, choose the middle one, circle, click to add, and then I'm going to choose this last one right here. Now look at what we've done. We've created a sloping action here, and so it's sloped from here to here because it's blending from this sketch to this sketch to this sketch. So that's how you would create, say, like a telephone machine, or sorry, a telephone receiver, or maybe a hilt, or maybe a crown, like a piece of a crown or something like that. I mean, this could have many different applications. Now, let's say that I don't want it to curve, I want it to just go straight up and down. I'm going to move this polygon over so that it's lined up with the middle, but I don't have to delete the loft. All I have to do is edit the sketch that I made over here so that it's moved over to the side. So in order to do that, I'm going to hit the plus sign for my loft, and I've got three sketches that I've used for my loft. Sketch 1, Sketch 2, and Sketch 3, which is the top one, the one that I want to edit so that it's right on top. So I'm going to edit Sketch 3. I'm going to dimension from the middle of the polygon to the middle of my origin, and I'm going to make this 0 so that it's right in line. I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. Now the loft is going to correct itself. Now we don't have something that's curving out, we have something that's going straight up and down. Okay? I'm going to show you one more thing with Loft. I'm going to make a sketch on the XY plane. So now I'm making a sketch on the XY plane, and I want to project the geometry of this top line right here. Okay, so now I've got this projected. Now I'm going to use my spline tool, and with the spline tool I'm going to line it up on this top line. I'm going to lock it on to the middle origin. See, I've got a dotted line that's heading down to the origin. I want that dotted line there. and for me to be locked onto this line. I'm going to click. I'm going to come up here, click again, and one more time, right click and hit create. So now I've got these 3 points here. I'm going to grab these points and kind of pull them up so that this line is kind of going straight up before it curves, and I'm going to pull this in just a little bit. I'm not going to dimension any of these. This is just for illustrative purposes. Try and make yours look about the same way as this one. It is about 0.761 tall and 0.882 wide, so make yours about that dimension, and that should be good. Finish sketch. Okay. Now I'm going to make a sketch intersecting this point and intersecting this point. Okay, the way I'm going to do this is go to my plane, and I'm going to choose normal to curve at point. It's the last one at the bottom. I'm going to choose this line, and I'm going to choose this point. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my plane, choose normal to curve at point again, click the line, and click the end point. Okay. So now we've got these 2 planes out here. I'm going to choose this first plane right here, make a sketch, and it lines this up for me, so I'm right in the middle. I'm going to grab my circle tool, lock onto this point. It will snap onto it. It may not be green, but it'll snap onto that point. And I'm going to make a circle that's 0.25. Hit finish sketch. And on this plane, the one on the end, so the one out here at the end, click, make a sketch. I'm going to grab my point tool, and I'm going to put a point right at this point right here. It's going to snap onto that point. So now I've got a point. Finish sketch. Okay. Now I am going to turn the visibility off of all of my work planes so that I'm not so confused. Work plane 4, right click it, turn the visibility off. Work plane 3, same thing, visibility off, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, the reason I'm illustrating this part right here is for 2 reasons. One, to show that you can create sketches along a path if you wanted to make some interesting shape that follows an actual path. This is the best way to do it, is to make a spline and make the spline curved however you wanted to do it. And you can do this with any shapes that you want. The other reason I wanted to illustrate this is because you don't necessarily have to draw a sketch every single time you want to make a loft. We're going to loft this surface to this point and this point right here. Notice that we don't actually have any sketch here. There's no lines drawn right here. So I'm going to go to Loft, and I'm going to click this surface right here. It's going to turn green. It's not a sketch. It's choosing this entire surface. So I'm going to click it, then I'm going to hit click to add, click the circle, click to add, and I'm going to click the point out here. Hit OK. Now we have got an interesting little cap. Kind of looks like an elf hat or something. But anyway, you can make so many different things with a loft. It does take a little bit of artistic creativity to think through how you can use the loft tool, but you can use the loft to create some very interesting shapes. You just don't want them to run into each other while they're turning. You want to have plenty of space for them to stretch out and be creative. Sometimes lofts won't work the way that you want them to. If they don't work, then you probably have to edit one of the sketches or make the sketches further apart or closer together depending. So it's very difficult to show all the different issues that you could have with a loft, but as you start creating them, you will become better at them. I'm going to turn the visibility off of this sketch for the spline here because I don't really want to see it anymore. It's sketch 4. It also will light up red when I hover over it. Right click, turn visibility off. Go ahead and save this file as Loft.